In this video, we're going to be looking at the contingency definition of a miracle. So, we've seen that Hume's definition of a miracle is to do with violating a law of nature. The contingency definition is quite different. The contingency definition proposed by R.F. Holland and Paul Tillich states that a miracle is a coincidence which can be taken religiously as a sign and thus can be called a miracle. So R.F. Holland explains his miracle. That's what he does, and he explains it by giving a short story. And in this short story, he explains how it works. So he says that there's a little boy, and he was playing on his toy motorbike or some sort of vehicle along the railway tracks, and the bike got stuck on the railway tracks. At that minute, a train was due to come any minute, and it was on the bend, so no train could have enough braking time to save the boy. And the train was due to come any minute. The boy did not realize he continually was just trying to get his bike unstuck from the railway. His mom comes out the house and notices this, and she shouts, "Just come away, but she's too far away." The boy does not hear his mom. But what happens is, as the train comes, it stops right in front of the boy. The mom says, "Oh my, this is a miracle. Thank you, Lord. Thank you so much." But why did the train stop? Not because it saw the boy, but actually what happened is the train driver, I think he went out to lunch with one of his colleagues. He had a large lunch and he had blood pressure and he fainted. And so the train went into automatic stop, and that's why it stopped right in front of the boy. So we can explain this event in purely natural terms. But the reason why it's a miracle, Holland goes on to say, is the key is that the mother sees this as a sign of God. She believes that this has revealed God's nature. This has shown that God is all loving, all caring, and he listens to his creation. That is why she takes it as a miracle. So this is a completely different slant on a miracle. Then Paul Tillich comes along and he agrees with this definition, and he goes on a little bit saying that the miraculous nature of Jesus' healing and all these other events has been overemphasized. So instead of focusing that they are signs, that they have something to be said, we're focusing on the miraculous nature, that they're unnatural, that they're not likely to occur. That's what we're focusing on, and this is wrong. It kind of is reminiscent of Rudolf Bultmann, when Rudolf Bultmann comes and says that when we look at a myth, we need to demythologize it to get the real meaning. It's the same thing with miracles. We're looking at the supernatural elements and the chance of it going so much that we're forgetting it's a sign and there is a more important message to come out. So we have an example. Jesus healed several people, and what Tillich is saying is that the important thing to note is that Jesus, not only did he show God's loving nature, Jesus was the Son of God because he had authority over sin, which nobody else has. So that's the key point when we look at healing miracles, like when Jesus made the blind man see again. And then Tillich puts a criteria, and he says there are three characteristics of a miracle. The first is that they make the person astonished, yet they don't have to violate the laws of nature. So in this story, there was no violation of any laws of nature, but it made the mom astonished because she thought she lost her child. She was like, wow. That's another. And another one is Jesus at the wedding, he turns water into wine. Naturally, this can happen. Well, so I'm told, naturally, this can happen. But the fact that, it astonished everyone at the wedding that suddenly they had the finest quality of wine, that's what makes it a miracle. The second thing he said, for it to be a miracle, it has to reveal something about God. So, water to wine, it reveals that God is all powerful. The example that R.F. Holland gives in the story reveals that God is all loving. And the last thing is this revelation. This revelation must cause an ecstatic, overwhelming experience for the recipient. So several times we've seen when Jesus has healed a person, this has given them so much joy and filled them up with ecstatic overwhelmingness that basically they go around praising God, that they love it. It's this feeling. So for the mother, she's filled up with so much joy. She goes straight to the church. She probably thanks God so much because for her, this is a miracle. I think the crucial point, though, when we look at this contingency definition is What makes it different from me walking down the street and me getting mugged, something like that, or any other life experience, to a contingency definition of a miracle occurring? Well, the difference is, Tillich explains that a miracle will be revelatory, and not only that, it will cause this feeling of ecstatic enthusiasm within you. Whereas a normal life event, it might cause that experience, ecstatic overwhelmingness, but it might not reveal something of God's nature to you. The problem is, though, if we do follow the contingency definition, it doesn't prove whether genuinely a miracle has occurred or this is all just a psychological thing. It doesn't prove it, and it relies on the assumption that God exists, because you're saying that any event that can be taken religiously. So if you are following this definition, you cannot prove the existence of God. That is the main problem. Nevertheless, it is a good alternative to Hume. I like it, and I think it's flexible and it makes sense for the modern day citizen. Thank you for watching. Please visit my blog.